backfield, especially with the addition of Marshall Faulk. I just feel like offensively and defensively, the linebackers, what I'm seeing from the secondary, the depth, and I'm appreciating so many aspects of the coaching staff and what they're bringing, and the young men that are understanding what they desire. So, when you hire a guy, you want that room to emulate and imitate who he is, and that's what they're doing right now, and I'm proud of that. Sapp is settled now. He's good. I mean, you bring a big dog in there like that, he got the outside guys as well as the inside. Echo's doing his thing. Gerard is doing his thing with Big George and Gunner. It's a beautiful thing. The receivers, they're fighting, they're feisty. I just can't wait to see what comes to pass on the field. A couple quarterbacks are fighting for who's going to be who. We don't know. No one's getting a nod right now. We're testing both of them and see how they react to what Pat is throwing at them, and they're doing a phenomenal job in leadership. You got to understand the offensive line and some of the guys that are still here is used to a certain type of leader, and these guys, we want them. The standard is the standard. We're not going to shy away from the standard at receiver, at quarterback, or wherever have it. The standard is the standard. Let's go.
Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
How you
Nick
doing?
Edwards here, Sports Report. Good to see you.
You like the sweater? I see you.
Thank you. Thank you. You mentioned the quarterback competition. When you and Coach Shurmur are watching them on the field, what qualities are you looking for in your starting quarterback?
Leadership. Being able to see the field, being able to rally those guys around. Because you got to understand, you got to have a bona fide leader. Why you asking that? I'm glad you asked. Because you don't huddle. You rarely huddle in college football. So those guys rarely get to look in the quarterback's eyes and see what he's consist of, and is he still composed? They rarely do that. You would see Shador sitting there, or he going on the sideline talking to those guys, and I always used to tell him, look in their eyes so they could see where you are. They could see how passionate you are about this next possession. And you want to see that type of leadership, because I know what they've seen. And the standard is the standard, and we're not going to vacillate from the standard.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Brian Howell, the Daily Camera.
I'm ready for you, baby. I'm ready.
I got two questions for you. First off, I'm curious how.
Hold on. My God, that's a nice jacket. My God. I got the record. First of all, I saw it at practice, and I got instantly jealous. You almost provoked me to go upstairs and change. That's how good you look. I don't know who made it, but I promise you I'm going to knock it off. That means duplicate it. And I'm going to have the pants to match. But that's a nice jacket. You ain't got the nerve to do that, but I do. But that's a nice jacket. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's right. It is a nice jacket.
It is.
Two questions for you. First off, how are you adjusting to coaching football without your
I love
sons
it.
being there?
I love it because I only have to wear one hat. And you don't understand how much I appreciate that. Because when you're a dad and a coach, you're wearing two hats. You coaching your butt off, but naturally you're making sure your kids are all right at the same time, simultaneously. And I've adopted kids on this team that I love to life, and I'm watching them as well. But it's nothing like your two biological kids being up there. You can't help but focus on those young men and seeing how they're doing. So it's different for me. I'm sure it's different for them, but I'm loving the process. I truly am.
And then I want to ask you, I asked Coach Falk this the other day, but obviously you've been very adamant about financial literacy for your players.
True.
And he was in that industry for so many years,
Right.
the last several years, 7 years or whatever. How much did that play into you wanting to bring him in here, knowing that he could maybe help those guys in that regard?
Well, I brought him in first and foremost because of his expertise of what he does. He was one of the greatest, arguably the greatest running back to ever play the game. I'm talking about in all phases: blocking, running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield, and a bona fide leader. Marshall made many of the checks for the quarterbacks early in some of those quarterbacks' careers, and he was just that smart. And we worked beside one another for over a decade at the NFL Network, so I know him. He is not just a friend. That's my dog. That's my boy. That's my man. I mean, I got love for Marshall Faulk. So for him to even do what he's doing here, he didn't have to. Marshall don't need no money. He's straight. So for him to want to come and help these young men and help us do what we're doing, and these guys to to elevate to the next level, that's tremendous. I'm proud, I'm happy, I'm thankful, I'm elated. Every time I see him, I go up and hug him, man, because it's, looking around the room and you see Marshall Faulk, and then you listen in on some of the talks and some of the wisdom that he's giving these young men is unbelievable. They getting it at cornerback, defensive line, they getting it everywhere now, and it's crazy with Pat, with the quarterbacks, and I'm telling you, we got a couple surprises that you're going to say, darn it. You might use profanity, but I say darn it. You may use profanity, but it's going to be some good guys.
Coach Jack Carlo.
Jack Carlo, my man. Let's go, Jack.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Coach.
I miss you, man.
I miss you too.
There
yeah,
you go.
Now with Sports Illustrated too. But just wanted to ask you about the Big 12 Pro Day and the CU's in-house showcase. Just how big an opportunity is that for guys kind of looking to boost their stock?
It's tremendous, Big 12 Pro Day. I love what they're doing. I mean, we got I think the nicest, the coldest darn commissioner in the game, to even think of that and allow us to have that for these young men that some of them may not get opportunity. You just know some of the guys because they were high-profile guys, but we got several guys, Herm Smith and several guys that's going to be there that just want an opportunity to put on in front of some of the scouts that's going to be there. So that pro day is phenomenal. That's why I'm saying it's in Frisco, I believe, Texas. I think I'm going. That's not too far from me, about an hour and a half from me, actually. But I'm going to try my best to be there. I know some of our young men are going, and they're probably participating in some of the interviews, but they're going. And I'm happy about that. And our pro day here is going to be televised. I think the NFL Network may carry it as well. It's phenomenal. We're going to try to put on the best show possible for the fans as well as these young men to have them in a capacity that they're at peace, they're at home, they can relax and just do what they've been gifted to do. So I'm excited about that. I really am, because I know all 32 teams will be represented here. It's going to be phenomenal for our program.
Hi, Coach. Adam Mustertag,
How you doing,
24/7
Adam?
Sports. Doing well. Good to see you. We had a chance to talk to Coach Gunnar White last week.
Yeah.
And he said when he got to Jackson State, he was a little bit starstruck,
Yeah.
and so he just put his head down, went to work. When
Yeah,
did you
he
see
did.
him start taking notice of his potential in that role?
He's a workaholic. First of all, he works his butt off, and he compliments normally the head guy at the offensive line pretty darn well. He's going to be there at the wee hours of the night. He's going to make sure his job is complete. Usually when I get up to the offensive line, their paperwork is on my desk first, because we grade the young men after every practice. And he's been doing it for years. He has it there first. That's just who he is. He's a tremendous father. Two beautiful young ladies that he's raising, and I see his wife and the kids all the time. And I love. He got the biggest calves you ever want to see. The biggest calves you ever want to see. And he's a black belt. I don't know if he said that because he was in a black environment, but he said he was a black belt. I don't know if he said that to scare us, but he said he was a black belt when he was in Jackson. And he graduated from Jackson State, so that was phenomenal. But you talking about a man that's passionate about what he does and deserve the opportunity. When you win, you elevate from within. When you lose, you go out and find something outside the house. You remember that, guys. When you're on your job, wherever you are, if you're successful, you elevate from within, because you guys will soar and go somewhere else, prayerfully to a bigger check, a bigger payday, if that's what you choose to do. But that's normally the process. But I love Gunnar. He's a good man. He's a good person, and he deserves everything he has coming.
Hey, Coach. Scott Park there.
What's up,
DNVR.
boss? You blowing up, huh?
I'm trying. I'm trying
Yeah, I
to
see
get
you
like
everywhere.
You feel me? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That means a lot. I wanted to ask you about just kind of how much of a priority it was for you in this program this offseason to retain Coach Robert Livingston as defensive
Oh,
coordinator.
shoot, that had to be the number one. That had to be the number one purpose that we had, as well as Pat. Don't sleep on Pat. He's doing a tremendous job here. But Rob was on everybody's list to try to secure his services, and he deserves everything he got coming, and then some. You know, when you get a guy and you have success, you're not going to keep him long. We didn't even have a success in the initial year that you thought, because we were 4-8. My God, I haven't heard that and said that in a long time. That used to be on social media all the time. I never see it anymore. But and we still lost several really good coaches. Now, when you win, you expect to to your staff to be ravaged. You expect that. And he was the top dog. Don't sleep on Coach Mathis. The Saints wanted him as well. So, but we got over 20 years together. It's going to take a little more than that, you know. I know they came with a bag, but we're going to take a little more than that. That's my dog. That's my buddy. And he has coordinator ability, but Rob is not only a great coordinator, but he's a good man, a great father, a great dude that the kids love and enjoy. So I don't know if we're going to be able to hold him after this season, but I'm going to enjoy this ride. I really am. But he's one of the best in the business, as well as Pat and the rest of our coaching staff. We have a wonderful coaching staff. Please don't underestimate that. Please take notice the way these young men communicate with these young men we have in that locker room and the way they communicate with one another. And it seems like every time we lose, we gain. Every time we lose someone, we gain someone, and which is kind of a more, I'm not going to say a better fit, but a more pleasant fit, if I'm analyzing that correctly. I'm trying to be kind.
Thank you over there. Pat, go ahead, Pat.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you
Pat
doing,
Graham.
sir?
I'm doing great, thanks. Like the hat.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, two-parter here. You've brought in obviously a lot of gold jackets to help with this team. Any hints on who might be coming in next?
No, I don't hint. I just do it. We just commented out. They're here. It wasn't no hint with Marshall, was it? Dead out. Some of y'all tried to break the story. I ain't gonna call it no names, but yeah. Huh? Yeah. Thank you. And you knew all along. Thank you for being who you are and valuing our relationship. He knows. He already know.
And the second part is, I know how much you love it here and how much you've grown accustomed
Yes.
here. Is there any talks of a contract extension? Was that something you're being
It
open
may
to?
be. I don't know. I ain't worried about me. Let's get everybody else straight first. Then I'm good. Yeah.
Hey, Coach. Nice to see you. Matt Smith, Independent.
Thank you.
Hope you had a time to decompress a little bit
A
after the
little
season.
bit. Could have used a little more time.
Yeah, couldn't we all? All right, so one of the things I didn't get a chance to ask you at the end of last season were what your off-season priorities were going to be. We talked about it after the Utah game, your first year,
Right.
running the ball 1A,
Right.
stopping the run 1B. What would you say it
Same
was
thing.
this offseason?
Well, I think we addressed it differently. Usually we address it with personnel. We address it with personnel as well as coaching. So when you say, I want to run the ball better, you got to address it with personnel, but sometimes you got to address it with coaching, and I think we did both, which is phenomenal. I love that, and stopping the run. I think we did it with personnel, and I think we did that with coaching. So I learned from year one, you can't just do it with personnel. You got to do it with coaching as well, and they must be united with one another, and you got to know what you need. Not just grabbing somebody from the portal. You got to check them out thoroughly, make sure it's a fit, just not athletically, but do he fit with the culture and what we're doing here at CU. And I'm happy and I'm elated what we have in-house. We still going to go fishing for a few more, and we're gonna come up. We already know that. That's probably why everybody's moving to stop spring games. I don't know why. You're not going to stop nobody from leaving your program by not having a spring game. If you want to save money, just say that. But you're not going to stop. The kids already gone. Like they already reached out and contacted somebody else. They already gone. Like that's not going to stop. I'm not going to have the it's like I'm not taking your little lady to the prom. Yeah, whoever going to get her, they're going to get her. All right. As soon as you go to college, they're going to get her. So it is what it is, man. It's not going to stop it. I'm just thinking of a way to improve it. That's why I want to play against somebody.
Couple more, right? Go ahead.
Arnie Steve, Associated Press. Good to see you again, Coach.
Good to see you, sir.
So when Patrick Surtain II got drafted, I asked his father what had been more nerve-wracking for him, his own draft day experience or watching his kid, and he said by far it was watching his kid. So I'm just curious with you as Shiloh and Shurmur, kind of head into this big month, if you could kind of compare to when, the Falcons got you fifth in '89, is there any difference in, I don't know if it
Yeah.
was nerve-wracking or
No,
what?
it's not nerve-wracking. First of all, it's a blessing. They received a lot more ignorance than I did. I received some, but we didn't have the social media channels and all the different things that's privy today, so you could get a breast of all that. Not at all. I mean, you got to understand, I was a two-sport guy at the time, so you could imagine what it would have been like with all the hate and the naysayers. I was a little different. It was a team I wanted to go to, that I made it possible for me to go to that team and that team only, because I had the leverage of playing baseball, and I'm thankful that the Atlanta Falcons chose me. That's where I wanted to go. My kids don't have the luxury of saying where they want to go. We would never do such a thing. And I told you, if that would come to that, I would quietly talk to that team behind the curtains. I would never put them on blast for nothing of the sort. Shiloh's working his butt off. I can't wait to see him run the 40 and do his drills, because he's been working with Swayze on all of that. I can't wait to see how sharp he is. Shedeur is a workaholic. You guys know that. He is who he is, and sometimes people forget what he's accomplished here at CU and how accurate and how good he is, because you got to take a shot at somebody, and you might as well take a shot as a Sanders. We built for this. We've been through this from birth, from youth ball, from his first pee-wee ball. You don't think when we put up in the car that we put up with, and the gear that we put up with, and the team that we put up with, we want to attack and criticize from here on? They've been through this. They got this. So I love it, because it's giving them that understanding and that chip on their shoulder. Not that they need it, but I like it. I really like it, and I can't wait. We've already won. We came from a private school, and we came from an HBCU. We've won. He's getting drafted. He's going to go in the first round. Shiloh's going to do his thing. All he needs is the opportunity. We've won, man. We've already won. So we're thankful, and we're just trying to pave the way for others. So we can't lose at this point. We're so darn blessed. We're not stressed. Do you see how I look right now? Do I look stressed? Let me take these glasses off so you can zoom in. Do I look stressed? No, I look blessed, okay? So, I don't know what they expect from my kids. They daddy's sons, man, please. We're used to adversity. We're used to ignorance and adolescence. We're used to that. So if anybody could handle it, I think they can. And I'm a proud father, not for the stuff that you know about. I'm proud for the stuff that you don't know about that they've gotten through. I am.
Take two more, and then we gotta get back. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah.
Round Scholes from Ralph Report.
Speaking of Shedeur, hold on, I got to ask, this is my son. Hey, son. That was really him. That was right on time. That was the spirit, wasn't it? Let me see if he has something to say to y'all. God, you just talking about him and he called. Is that Now he's going to act like he didn't just call. Anyway.
Week into spring practice, which one of the newcomers have really caught your eye?
Quite a few of them. I can't start off with the names. Quite a few of them. Our D tackles, not that both of them are newcomers, they're phenomenal. They've been balling. They've been stopping that run, man. Linebackers are flying around, getting to the ball. Old faithful Ben. Ben is balling. I told Ben as of right now you're starting. I don't know if it's gonna change, but right now, and they're doing good. Receivers are doing well. Quarterbacks are fighting. They're fighting. We should have a much improved line, not just because of the personnel, but because of the coaching as well. And three guys, doing one job is true cohesiveness. But it's so many. I tell you what, now this is what. I don't think we would have a kickoff return because they won't get opportunity. The ball may go in the band. You have no idea how much I hate every team we play kicks the ball out of the end zone, and we kicking a returnable ball. I don't like that. I just watched this guy kick the other day, man. It was ridiculous, man. It was field goals. He was kicking field goals from kicking off. It was crazy. And new mate, I call him new mate, a punter. New mate is booming them just like old mate was. I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job. Their special team should be truly special this season. And I want that because I would love to put 10 walk-ons out there and let them go do their thing on the kickoff team.
Sorry, last one, Tyler. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Tyler
What's
King.
going on, Tyler?
I'm doing good, thank you. Wanted to ask about Jordan. Obviously, Seton. Obviously, it seems like he's taking a bigger
Yeah.
leadership role going into a sophomore season.
Yep.
Just how impressed have you been with him, not just on the field but off the field? With
He's
everything
one of my
he's doing?
favorites. I love him to life. He spent a lot of time with Shador, and he's picking up a lot of traits. He's in a darn Maybach, by the way, car better than mine. Looking good in it, too. But he's a big old kid, man, and he comes to work every day. He just did Indy today. He didn't practice because his back is hurting a little bit, but he was involved in the practice without practicing, and I love that, like encouraging the guys, telling them what they did and what they need to do. So he's such a good young man, and not just the talent, but the character, and that's what we're looking for here at CU, smart, tough, fast, disciplined young man with character, and he epitomizes that. I'm going to tell you one other kid that I really like before I go, Isaiah Harge. I love this young man with so many others, but he stands out because I don't know if the last home game we had 3 guys that play both ways, and he was one of them. Brown was the other one, and of course Travis. But he is coming into his own at playing the slot receiver. He is. We've taken him off defense so he could focus on that slot. And this kid, he's going to do some incredible things this season. He's doing really well. But we have a plethora of kids that are really playing well, and I don't want to over-exaggerate anything. I want you to see them first, but we have some tremendous talent on this team. Hats off to Coach Ray and that recruiting department.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, and God bless you all. I like that jacket, by the way.
Round Schools from Ralph Report. Obviously, a lot of changes in the secondary, but you guys get Preston back for another year. Just how big is it to be able to have him alongside you in the secondary?
Man, that's just going to make us the best secondary in the country once again. You know, he played a real crucial part of what made our secondary, our defense, successful in games. So it just means a lot having him. You know, I could depend on him, you know, knowing he's going to do his job and be there to make plays.
Nikki, go ahead.
You're a hot topic, and you are one of the more prominent cornerbacks with all of your experience last year. When you look at this year, what are kind of your goals and things you want to improve on, and just your focus all around?
Definitely be a leader more, you know, lead. I led by example more last year, but we had guys like 7 and 12, you know, who were more vocal leaders. So I kind of want to step up into that more, being a vocal leader this year, you know, just making sure my guys know what they're doing and, you know, just we on point every time.
Hey, DJ, got a couple of new safeties. You're going to be working into the rotation. How has it gone early process, early stages, getting to know those guys more than maybe playing with them practice-wise, number-wise? Yeah.
One of the first things I noticed is that they all love the game, you know. They just love being out there, love working, you know, just running around, going after the ball and everything. So, like, Tafiq, man, he a dog for real. He definitely a student in the game for sure. And then, you know, you got Antonio, man, he just so lengthy and rangy, man. He's just gonna be a good player here, being developed here.
How about Carter? What have you seen from Carter?
Oh, Carter, Carter is Carter, you know. He's solid, always solid, you know. I can always depend on him for sure too. Yeah.
Hey, DJ, I'm Jack Carlo with SI. Just curious, reflecting on last year, just what were the biggest things you learned about yourself, and what would you like to kind of improve upon this spring?
One of the biggest things I learned about myself is, you know, I gotta always stay in my own, like, stay on myself more, you know. I'm my biggest critique. So I just want to make sure that I keep stacking every day, each day getting better and everything. And then another thing is, you know, just don't get too high in the highs, don't get too low in the lows. Like I said, just got to keep a constant mindset, a pro mindset, really, every day.
Hey, DJ. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. You mentioned this last offseason, you know, after Travis has got all his awards and everything, that it was kind of inspirational to you to see that. Is that something that you've thought about this offseason that's kind of fueled you a little bit as you go through workouts to, you know, make sure you have a great year?
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. You know, I'm putting work in the weight room more, you know, trying to get my body right, develop more, putting more time in the film room because, you know, I seen it happen. Like, I watched Travis do it, you know, I'm taking notes myself. So, like I said, it was just inspirational seeing him do it. So, just knowing I could, you know, potentially bring a trophy home myself, you know, Jim Thorpe Award, you know, any award that I go chase after, really.
Hey, DJ, Scott Proctor at DMVR, kind of talking a little bit more about Travis. Just how valuable do you think it was kind of playing opposite of him, knowing that a lot of times teams weren't trying to throw at him, which meant that you got a lot of targets. How valuable do you think that was last season?
Man, it was real valuable. Knowing going into the season, I knew, you know, that's gonna be the main thing. You know, they not throwing to Travis as much at all, really. So they definitely gonna want to target me. So I just made sure that, like, when they came my way, I was on point. You know, if they got a ball on me, I'm on to the next play. You know, get ready, get set, do it again. You know, next time make a play on it. So I really just, like I said, just kept that pro mindset about it. You know, just make a play when it come my way. Yeah.
Hi, DJ. Adam Tiger, 24/7 Sports. We get to see Colton Hood play quite a bit last season. Now with Travis moving on to the NFL, what have you seen out of him as a teammate this offseason?
Oh, man, he's just growing into more of a dog, man. You know, honestly, I wish, you know, it was enough DB spots out there for all of us to be out there playing at the same time because, man, like, it's no drop-off in that room, especially from last year, but it's still no drop-off this year. So he's just growing into his role as a ball player on his team.
Hey, DJ, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. We've heard Coach Livingston talk about how good of a teacher Coach Mathis is. Just from your perspective, what about Coach Mathis makes him such a good teacher, and what do you like most about working with him?
You know, he just keeps the main thing. You know, he always says, you know, you get out what you put in. So if you put in, you know, this amount of effort and this amount of time into the game, you're going to get what you deserve out of it. So he just really breaks everything down real easy for us, you know, to understand, and then, you know, just keeps it straight all the time. You know, he's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to, you know, talk to us like men, you know, and then just, at the end of the day, mentor us.
Couple more, David, go ahead.
DJ David Upton with The Athletic. When you compare where the program is now, what are the biggest differences that you've seen in the program that you encountered when you got here?
I would just say, you know, it's more of a culture, you know, like last year's season, you know, we was building, you know, like building more of the foundation, you know, standing on it more. And now I think like this year, like we left that legacy, so now we just got to build off even more. You know, we got younger players coming in, so we got to make sure they know what's right, what's wrong, and then just know how to go out there and be a Colorado Buffalo and play up to the expectation.
DJ Leo Rivera with Scobo Sports. What has the competition been like at these early stages of practice, and what have you seen from some of the young players who are now joining the team?
Man, it's been competitive every day, you know. You look over here, you got Quentin Gibson making a play. You look over here, on the opposite side of the ball, you got Antonio making a play on the ball. Like, it's just exciting to see younger players because I remember when I was in that position, and it's just, you know, looking back at it, it's like, man, time flies, so you just got to take advantage of every opportunity. But it's been real competitive, real competitive.
All right, thanks, DJ.
Appreciate y'all.
Hey, chair hot. Yeah, literally.
Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan. Nikki Edwards, CU Sports Report. Just recently, Denzel Washington came and talked to the whole team. What did you take away from those moments with him, and how cool was that for the team?
No, that was a good experience. I wish I had my notebook with me because I wrote down so many things from that interview that he gave us. But it was just good just having, like, knowledge, like, outside of football, just, like, knowledge within life. And I feel like Coach Prime's big on that, so it's just good to see, like, good to just hear from, like, just, like, outside of football. Yeah.
David, go ahead.
David Upton with The Athletic. Jordan, if you could give a piece of advice to yourself a year ago and think about what you've learned over the last year, what would that kind of be? And what do you, when you look back at that first year, what did that look like for you?
The advice I give to myself from last year is just, like, just keep your head down and work. You know, stay grounded, and never feel like you arrived. So just for me, just never want to feel like I arrived. So this year I'm kind of taking that role on as like being a leader and really putting extra time into my craft and really just grinding, straight up just grinding, because it's going to be a good season this year.
Jake, go ahead.
Hey, Jordan. Jake Schwan, it's DMVR. Coach Prime just mentioned, you picked off a lot of traits from Shurmur, just spending time around him and, picking up some of that leadership role. Just what did you think you learned the most from Shurmur over last year?
How to be legendary. But really just like leadership traits, not in so much of with voicing, but just in action. I never kind of been like a big talker, like a big like yelling guy, like during like workouts and stuff. But now just leading my action, and then, like when you lead in action, you don't really have to say too much because like you're seeing it. So it's either you're gonna rise to what I'm doing, or you're just gonna get left behind.
Hey, Jordan. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. I have two questions for you. First off, there's a lot of seniors in your offensive line group, but we're seeing you take a leadership role. Why is that important to you to be a leader in that group?
Still learning from those seniors. I don't know it all, but I take importance of just like I value this offensive line, I value this school, I value this program. So for me, it's like it may mean a little bit more to me. So I got to do more, do extra, and I just want to be that guy where they can turn to and be like, yeah, he's a young guy, but he's consistent every day. So my goal, I'm just trying to chase consistency.
And then you watched yourself from last year. What were some things that you saw that you didn't like? That you're like, I got to get better at this.
For me, it was just more so sometimes when I got tired, my lack of technique dropped. So just really just trying to eliminate that. Like when I'm tired, I don't really lose technique. It's more so like I'm just sinking back to my training, like playing when tired. So that's why now we do sprints before we play team ball. So it's just like trying to build fatigue in within the game.
Hey, Jordan, Pat Graham, Associated Press. There's only one shooter, we know that.
Yeah.
But what have you seen out of Kaidon and Juju? How's the offense going to be different, and what have you seen out of those two quarterbacks?
I've seen competition out of those two quarterbacks. Juju's still a young guy, but he's not afraid to, put the ball where he wants it. Kaidon, he's been a leader in all aspects, and he's leading by example also. So between those two quarterbacks, what I've seen the most is straight competition, but willingness to learn from each other.
Hey, Jordan, Coach was just in here talking about the elevation of this offensive line. You got a group of guys he thinks are better. You got the coaching changes that have gone on. What's your evaluation? I know it's early, but what's your evaluation about that offensive front here early on?
My evaluation is that we're finna run the ball every game. And we're going to do and oppose our will this year. We put a big emphasis on running the ball this year. We didn't really do good at that at all, but you got guys like Trav, LeJohn, Shepard, who doesn't want to throw the ball that much? But this year, we will run the ball and we will impose our will when we want to, how we want to, and when we want to.
Hey, Jordan. Jack Carlo with SI. I'm just curious about Coach Swayze coming in to lead the strength and conditioning program. What have you learned from him so far?
Swayze's a good coach. He knows his stuff, man. I already see my body changing as far as like definition and tone. Started doing body comps now, so we're knowing the percentage of fats we got going on. I feel like overall, Coach Prime bringing in Coach Swayze and keeping Coach Mo and them, we got a great strength staff, and just keep building just with practice and then going to the weight room and then translating what we do in the weight room to on the field.
Does he still have you on the fish diet too?
No, I had to give up the fish diet just because I wasn't getting enough protein,
Last one, Adam, go ahead.
Jordan Adam, Mr. Tiger, 24/7 Sports. Obviously, this is now been a year that you've been on campus. Just building off some of those earlier questions, how much more comfortable do you feel in your skin when you come into the facilities, when you go to practice, as you kind of think back to maybe a year ago, 4 practices in?
I feel a lot more confident in a lot of things that I do now. Coming in, freshman with a lot of expectation, you kind of walk on eggshells because you don't want to screw nothing up. So now, getting the year in and really getting my feet underneath me, it's really like just be confident and know like who I am. Like know that I'm the best player on that field, and when I walk in any room, just carry myself a certain way to just translate on the field also.
All right, thanks, Jordan.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day.